There we go. Hello. Hopefully you guys can hear us now. We're going to do a live, just basically discussion, kind of go over the April Tinsley case that I just made a video on the other day. Hear us now. We're going to do a live. I need to. Oh, that was. Was that your video audio? Okay.
Yeah, I accidentally clicked on the YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering if it was mine, and I was struggling to go. Yeah. So. Yeah, I just made a video the other day on the April Tinsley case, and it's really bothersome. I mean, there's so many cases out there that haven't been solved. It seems like this should be one of the ones that has been solved, given the amount of information that's out there. Okay, now I don't know how many people actually watched the video. Hopefully everybody that's on here has actually watched the video, right? But if we were going to go do a quick synopsis, on April 1st, 1988, April was playing outside near her home, then went down the street, or maybe she was playing near a friend's house. I'm not exactly sure about that. It sort of changes in different articles and so forth. But regardless, she was playing outside, and I think it maybe started to rain, so she went down the street to another friend's house where she had left her umbrella at. And on the way there, she was abducted by just a monster, basically. All right, and her mom was waiting for her to come home to eat, and around 5 o'clock, she failed to come home to eat, and that she got really worried, because that's just not what April does, right? So then she called the police, and the police apparently came out, with dozens of officers. This apparently was quickly. So they came out with dozens of officers and a lot of people around the community. They all started looking for her, and they were not able to find her. And then 3 days later, on April 4th, a jogger found her on the side of a road in Spencerville in a ditch. Okay? And she had been raped and suffocated. The killer also left a sex toy 20 feet from April's body, and that was linked to the crime. Okay, and they actually released an image of that, which will show a blurred version of it later. A witness actually came forward and said they saw April being put into a car, a light blue pickup truck, and they described the person as a white guy in his 30s. Basically, it's pretty generic, to be honest. And that was it. There was no. They weren't able to find the person at all. And then 2 years later, on a barn, the killer put a note, and he progressively made the note darker 3 different days in a row, apparently. Okay, so he wrote one day in pencil, the next day in crayon, I believe, and then marker. But he didn't really trace over it, though. Some articles say, oh, he traced over it, but when you look at it, it's not quite. Like, some words are off to the side, and Ada, who's here again, she's my partner in, no, I won't say partner in crime, that's not what we do, but we
sounds good to me.
Yeah, we look into this kind of stuff. All right, we were kind of going over all those the writings and kind of observing some things about it, and they were able to determine that note on the barn was from the killer. Now, I don't know if that suggests that they had received a note near her body originally, but just never made that public. I don't know. But I don't know how they knew for sure that was the killer and not some copycat.
The one on the barn?
Yeah, the one on the barn, right. And then
I think I'd read that the America's Most Wanted had said that he left crayons behind.
Oh, really? At the original? Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the original crime scene, right?
Well, at the barn when he had written in
Oh,
crayon. I don't know how accurate that is. I just read that
and
that
maybe they got
apparently
some
on the
touch.
America's Most Wanted video back in
Yeah.
2009, they said that he left crayons behind.
Okay, maybe they got like touch DNA from that or something. But
I'm not sure
well, they
if they
wouldn't
got
have.
anything
They
from
wouldn't
that
have.
or not.
Well, they wouldn't have because in 1990, that's
Sorry,
when
not.
they already made the connection. So
Oh, that was 1990.
that's what I
Yeah.
just said. Yeah, yeah. In 1990, they weren't able to make the connection. I mean, they were able to make the connection of the writing on the barn to the killer, and that kind of DNA is so recent. The touch DNA stuff. That
Maybe it
19
was handwriting analysis.
right.
But that was the first note, right?
Well, that's the first thing. Yeah, so that's why I'm suggesting that maybe there was a note left at the original crime scene that law enforcement never mentioned to
Mm-hmm.
anybody, and then they compared the writings, and it was a match.
That makes sense.
Right. All right, and then in March 25th, 2004, a 5-year-old girl noticed a note sealed in a plastic bag on her bicycle basket, and the note said, that's the one that said, "Hi, honey, I've been watching. I am the same person that kidnapped and rape and kill April Tinsley on, the next, what does it say? You are my next victim. If you don't report this to police and I don't see this in the paper tomorrow or in local news, I will blow up your inside, blow up your house," I think is what it said. I'm reading what was actually the letters that you see on the screen. But I've actually was looking at it, and I see up,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yeah.
YO. We were looking at that, so we'll go over that later.
Well, the writing is horrendous, whether that's intentional or not.
Yeah. And then over the next 3 months, 3 more notes were found, and I think this. I'm not sure if it was the first note. Let's see. No, it was actually the final note. I believe was the one in the basket. Right? Is that true? I can't remember exactly now in my brain.
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me.
Let me
Chart.
look at this because it had a date on the image, right?
Well, I couldn't see the date on it. I thought you said it was between March and June, all three.
Yeah. So June 25th, 04, it says, "Hi, honey, I've been watching you. Here is some picture of mine." And then he sent a picture of the lower half of his body on a bed, naked. And apparently he's circumcised. He has hairy legs, and see, this guy. People say he's dumb because of his writing, but I don't think this. I think that's all fake.
Yeah.
I don't think he's dumb at all because he knew.
Well,
There's,
what was the word that somebody used? DYS, not dyslexia.
It was like dysgraphia.
Dysgraphia.
Yeah. You guys might
or somebody suggested maybe he wrote with the wrong hand, on purpose. Like, if he's right-handed, he wrote with his left hand.
Well, it was interesting too when we were looking at this earlier. The N is different. Like in one, you can see like one writing sample, like one note, and the N will be completely different, like 4 different times. So I don't know. That seems like that would be intentional because when you're writing naturally, your hand just writes it. And you do it the same way over and over and over again. Like every time I make an N, it's going to look pretty similar. It's going to have the same strokes on it. I'm not one time going to leave the vertical notch off. One time, have this V starting. It's completely different. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and it seemed like the L's were always capital L.
Oh, yeah?
And one thing I thought was strange or different was one note he said her middle name as well.
Yeah.
April Marie. And then spelled Tinsley wrong.
That's
Tinsley
the one on
wrong.
the barn. That's the one on the barn.
That's the one on the barn. Yeah. So obviously watching, news coverage.
Yeah, so if you're looking at this image, the map that the FBI, I guess, put out, it's not really incredibly specific, but you can kind of narrow down an area pretty well using it. The first note, so she was abducted here, then she was found up here.
Do you have that on the screen, or?
Yeah, I thought I'd put it on the screen, yeah.
I don't see it, but...
Oh, it's not on the video?
I mean, in the earlier video.
Huh. Well, I think it's online. I don't know if it's... Are they able to watch this? I think they're watching it. Are you guys able... You guys are able to see the map, right? Maybe somebody can answer that on there.
I'm just looking in the chat.
Yeah, it takes like 20 seconds for them to... Okay, you can. Okay, you see. Okay. Now. So you probably need to click on in Hangouts, the map. You know, oh, wait, I see. I got to turn the camera on. Okay, now you should have the...
Okay, now I can see it. Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay.
Hey, at least it exists. Okay, so this is how it works. She was abducted right here in 1988. Okay, down below. You can't see because I can't... I'm moving my mouse on it, but I don't have... You won't be able to see it on your screen, but just look... My mouse you won't be able to see. So if you look down below, it says abduction site 1988. Then way at the top is where they recovered her body. And then all the other things were inside of that area. Okay, so the note on the barn was almost, looks like just a little over halfway from where she was recovered to, you know, where she, you know, lived or was abducted from. Right? So that was the first, and that was 1990. Now, the other 4 came later. And actually, that note in the bicycle basket, that's one of the later ones, I believe. I think that might even be the last one because that's the image that he put out. And that's the one in June. So these ones up here, you know, started in March, and then they, you know, traveled down, and the last one was getting closer to where she was abducted at, which is kind of weird, right?
Well,
like,
he's obviously driving around stalking young girls.
Yeah.
Or is he driving around at night just looking for bicycles where, you know, obviously a child lives, and then just placing it then?
Yeah, that's what's weird about it.
Because you would think people would see something suspicious.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some of these. So
here's 2 of the places that the notes were found were very close together. Note in mailbox 2004, and then note on bicycle. Those seem very close together.
Yeah. I mean those 2 up at the top, but those are only I think about 0.5 miles apart.
And what were the dates on those? Do you know?
Yeah, I don't have the dates. The only 2 that had the dates that I've seen are the barn and the bicycle basket note where the photograph of him was taken or was put.
So it's possible those 2 at the top could be on the same day.
Yeah, it could be. Kind of makes you wonder that if I think the person lives sort of in a radius of the you know, the body recovered and the note on the bicycle, perhaps.
And I would say that it would be, if you drew a circle around that it would be outside of that circle.
You know,
because I doubt he would do that in, you know, where he lives.
Yeah.
Typically.
So let's take a look at this. See this image with, this is the image that was on the barn.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the one that says Marie in the middle, but he also didn't spell her last name right.
Right.
But what's interesting is when I look at this, I see that, you know, April, see the second line there? There's a light April there, APR, and he made sure he didn't go over the black line that separates the boards. So you have A and then PR, right? And then the next day, I guess he did it again, and crayon, but now we see the darker marker, and then he fits APR all inside one board, and then he spells her name correctly, but IL fit on one board, and then he puts MA on one board, and then RIE on a board. Then he leaves. Then N is missing on TISL. Then EY, he kind of misses it there. But if you look to the left of April, there's this really light version of APR, which looks like that was probably the, I don't know if that was the pencil version or the crayon, but right below the P on the light version of April, it looks almost like SP there.
Yeah.
I don't know why it looks like that to me. It just sort of looks like
I can definitely see the P, but yeah, it does kind of look like an SP.
Yeah, it's
what about to the right of Tinsley, where it looks like an HD and then something else?
Yeah, those are ha. They actually said that.
Okay.
So that's the second. He said ha a couple times in notes.
Right.
One note, and then on this barn, there might be another note. I think there's a note missing that we haven't seen.
Oh, really?
I think because when I count them, I think there's. Like one of the three just regular notes is missing. But it might not, it's not missing, I just haven't seen it, is what I'm saying. All right. So, you look at the, let's pull up one of the other notes here. If I can find it, that is. All right, yeah, here we got a bunch of them. All right, here's the, hi, honey, I've been watching you. I am the same person that kidnapped and raped and killed April Tinsley. You are my next victim if you don't report this to the police, and I don't see this in the paper tomorrow. See, this guy's all just looking out for, like, he sort of wants somebody to be chasing him.
Yeah.
He's almost like he's disappointed. Because when we go back to, let me go back to that barn image. This is what I was talking with Ada about earlier. See, what I think was going on here is the killer put the note in pencil the first, like one of the, the night. There's a night, because over 3 nights it got darker. And then he drove by and he was like, oh, God, I can't really read that. So then he goes back out another night, makes it a little bit darker. Then the next day, he realizes that still isn't dark enough for a random car to be driving by and then notice it. So then he puts the dark marker on there because he wants to make damn sure that somebody sees it. And the crazy part, though, is it was actually seen each of the days by that, I guess it was.
Would it be visible at night, though?
No, I just think he was writing it and then hoping that somebody would see it during the day the next day.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, but I would think that the fact that he wrote it 3 different times, he probably went out there at night. It wasn't like during the day. Although it would be hard to see the gaps in the, the boards, because I mean that's such a there's no lights where that was.
Unless he had a flashlight.
Right, but then that would give you away, right? Like, hey, I'm right here. People will be like, hey, what are you doing over there? Oh, just putting a note. Don't mind me.
So maybe he was an early morning person. Maybe I think I read somewhere in some comments, people were thinking, well, maybe he's a newspaper delivery person.
Yeah, it's funny because I thought of maybe a mailman, But look, like in the middle, there's no street lights here, right? And the thing is if you came out here in the middle of the night, it's going to be pitch black, and you're not going to see anything.
You're talking April?
Yeah, I think that was.
It probably gets dark around 6.
No, this is March, where the barn note was. But same thing, late March. I mean, I think it was March. I have that in my notes. Hold on, March 25th. No, excuse me. Wrong. That's wrong. That was May 21st, 1990. So it was.
Okay. So it probably stayed light till around 7, something like that, maybe.
7-ish, something like that. Yeah, there's so many dates in here. It's hard to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have them imprinted on my brain yet, but
It's just really strange, the whole thing. Like, where is he between all of these times?
yeah, and he seems to like he really is active during between March and June. You know, like
Yeah.
everything he did is between those dates. So you have March 25th, 2004 is when the first note was put on. Well, you know, when we say first note, there could have been other notes that nobody ever saw. Okay, but I actually think the reason we know about these notes is because law enforcement. I don't know if they put him out at the time, but they were probably worried that if they didn't put him out, he would do just what he said in the notes. You know.
Yeah, and I wonder too, like before this abduction, was it like an opportunity? She got separated from her friends. Was he stalking them that day? And other kids too?
Yeah, that's what's odd, right? He must have been sort of watching them play, and then when one of them separated out, that's when he made his move. So he was there watching. And that's kind of, when I throw out the mailman theory, it's like, see, that's the perfect kind of guy that can, just sort of blend in, you're watching, but then there was a blue truck, right? So
he wouldn't have had the mail truck.
Yeah, so it could be that he just knew. I don't know if the name April, doesn't that just seem weird though, right? Like
1st of April.
Her name's April, and then the 1st of April.
And it's Good Friday.
Yeah, that's right. Good Friday, and then Easter Sunday coming up. But her, it just seems like, I guess if your name is April and you're murdered, you have 1 in 12 chance of what month that would be, apparently. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't even know if that's true, because certain months may be statistically higher average of murders,
Yeah. There could be something to it, but that would mean that he knew who she was.
Yeah.
And was, targeting her.
Yeah. So this barn thing is just really weird to me. I don't know why. It just seems it's like it was almost like this.
Yeah.
It's a trophy. Look how it's just so by itself.
Like how many times did he drive by to look at his work,
Yeah, exactly.
And to see what kind of attention he would be getting.
Yeah. And the thing is it's a perfect building to put it on. Because if you put the note on these other buildings, driver-bys aren't going to notice it, but there's a barn. It's the only building there. So you drive by, and then your eye automatically turns to look at a building, right?
Yeah.
Because it's the only thing there. If you literally...
so he gets the crayons because he thinks that'll be more colorful?
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe just that's all he had, and he made it darker, and it just didn't work,
And then you would think that he might have kids, because do most people have crayons handy?
Yeah, you were mentioning that, and like I said, I actually have some crayons, but
and no kids.
Yeah, I don't have any kids, but I was gonna use it to do some artwork years ago, and I still just have them sitting there. So I guess it's possible. I would say 99% of adults that don't have kids don't have crayons, though. Okay.
Lying around.
Right.
And did he use marker as well, like a, ink marker of some kind?
Yeah, I think the marker is what he finally finished up with to make it darker.
Okay.
But if I'm looking at the image correctly right here, so let me go back to the... This looks like the center of the two doors, and these are the... Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. So just look at the really dark line. That's going to be the center of the two doors meet. And then you see the handles and so forth for the... And now let's go back to the Google Earth. So I think this barn door is slightly open right here, and slightly open, and right here are those handles. So they're kind of low, so the note would have been kind of down lower.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So that's kind of how...
So that's interesting in terms of like
Yeah.
writing, depending on how tall you are.
Yeah, did he kneel down maybe, or maybe
I
that's
would
just a
say
really,
to
yeah.
do it at that level, maybe kneel down, because wouldn't you tend to write above you?
Yeah.
For
Well, let me do some stuff here. What I'll do is I'm going to measure the length of this building here, because maybe that's a really tall barn that we just don't, you know.
Oh yeah, that's true. It just looks.
All right, so this is, wow, that's a 42-foot long barn. I wouldn't have
Oh
guessed that.
wow.
So that thing
Okay.
that probably is a lot. So 42 feet, all right? Now let's go look
Yeah.
at that street view again. So this could be just like a massive barn that just look, yeah, I mean, because look at that sign. That's usually taller than a person, right?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay, so let's say that's 42 feet. And then I'm going to go back to about right here. And that would be similar to the height. I'm just going to go from
Mhm.
the bush. Oh, let me get it. Okay, so from down here to here, and then just eyeball it and say that's probably the height. So, if you can do some kind of, this is totally rough here. But I
Yeah.
would say that, like, so halfway would be here, and that would be 22 feet tall, and that would make it, let's just say, yeah, I mean, let's see, 22. This could be like 12 or 15. That sure doesn't look like that, though.
Doesn't. No.
Yeah, and Google Earth's really accurate with those measurements.
Yeah.
But look at this
So
sign right
then.
here. That sign seems really little. I mean, usually when you're standing next to these signs, someone can look that up maybe and say, hey, how tall are the typical street signs? Or does anybody know what the width of a road normally is?
And the street signs maybe like
Definitely it looks
60.
taller from back here, though, when you're looking from over here. You see?
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I mean, is this like door handle height and this just really tall doors here that are 12 feet tall? Hard to say.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't want to get stuck on that too long. But
Right.
yeah,
It is
yeah,
interesting though.
yeah. I mean, there's a car right here, so you can tell that's
Mhm.
way longer than the car. So I think that's an
Yeah.
accurate measurement.
Interesting how things appear smaller.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Is anybody saying anything over there in the chat?
Let's
I've been
see.
neglecting them, looking at the. Yeah.
Yeah, so on the FBI profile, did they say, what kind of education they thought he might have had, or I think they said he was either low to mid income, mid to low, something like that.
Yeah. Hey, that's what mailmen are.
Huh?
I'm sticking with my mailman.
Sticking with the mailman theory.
The mid-income level.
Hey, except for you got the issue with the truck.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think my thing with mailman is they know everybody's name. Like,
Mm-hmm.
even if they know all the kids too, so they could come
What
back
about
at any time.
paper delivery person?
Yeah, those people too. Same concept.
That would give, usually they deliver papers around what, 5 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, usually something like that.
So that would give somebody the opportunity to leave notes without really being seen.
Yeah. So let's go to that last.
Assuming that the bikes were left out during the night,
So here's the last two. Or I don't know if they're the last two, but the two notes that were next to each other that we were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Earlier. And this is just kind of a rough estimate based on the map, but it looks to be right around there. So, I mean, we're within a block of these images right here. And so I can do street view on that, too, if you want. He's out here just driving around. Of course, I got to
Because
drive by
how would
my...
you know if kids and there's the mail truck?
And there's the mailman. the nefarious mailman.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, it's, you know, so look at that. It is a mail route, though, which every road is in the world, but, you know.
Yeah.
So I can't be
and
wrong.
So how much, you know, if he wasn't a mailman or somebody that would deliver papers, you know, or the milkman, you know, what kind of research would they have to do to figure out that kids lived here?
Well, just think they're just observing when they're driving around. I don't think they're
just sitting around, you know, all day.
Yeah, I mean, like I have this mailman that comes by, and you know, he knows all my neighbors that have the kids, and they, you know.
But I mean, if it were not the mailman or the paper delivery person, just some random person, you know, how much research would they have to do to figure this out, where these kids lived?
I don't know. I don't know when you say research, it seems to me like they could just drive around.
Just drive around and then see a kid playing. And
yeah, especially since April lived, you know, pretty near a school. So he could just probably, oh, okay, those are the kids walking home from school. Okay, let me, you know, follow them around.
Yeah. There are some things about this that remind me somewhat of the Zodiac Killer. I'm not, like, totally read up on the Zodiac Killer, but I think he did threaten kids at one point.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you know, like kidnapping kids, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but, you know, he would leave notes. Or more, he would write to the newspaper, I think, but similar kind of statements.
Yeah.
It sort of reminds me.
I noticed the writing looks mildly similar, too. You know, this like maybe he was a hero of his or something.
Could
I mean, when was the Zodiac Killer, you know, in the height of his
was
barbarian?
Definitely in the 60s. Trying to think, maybe mid to late 60s and into the early 70s. I'm not positive.
Yeah. So it's hard to say.
Yeah, it's one of those also that just sort of stopped, you know. So you wonder, did they end up in prison? But if they were in prison, then there was no DNA match. And they had CODIS back in those days. I think they started it in 1990. So anyone that was arrested for a violent crime or robbery, that type of thing, would have to give their DNA.
Well, I wish they... I think it's almost like anybody that's in jail at all. I mean, I know it's totally 1980, you know, 1984 or whatever you call it, the Orwellian. But it seems like if we just had everybody's DNA.
George Orwell, you mean?
Well, well, it's just like the
Big Brother.
Yeah, the Big Brother thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So I guess. Yeah, the thing is like if we all had our DNA samples in a database, you could track these people down quick, you know?
Yeah.
Like literally. But it's like, I mean,
I was just having
I don't know.
a similar discussion with somebody just last night, I think, about this kind of thing. You know, how Ancestry.com does this thing where you can pay, you know, $70 and get your DNA tested to see what percentage nationality you are. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's, you know, kept in some database. I don't know where they keep it. You know, they have to send it out to be tested. And I've heard of some cases where law enforcement have used that, you know, use their
database?
The data.
Huh.
And I don't know how legal that is, you know, in some countries, but we were just talking about that, how, let's say if, you know, your brother decided to get his ancestry DNA done, and then law enforcement were able to access that data and say, hey, somebody here is related to,
Yeah.
The perp, that kind of thing.
Somebody wrote in the comments, he could just have an obsession with the case, the person who wrote the note. Now they linked all the notes to the killer, so that's not something, that's not a debatable.
Because he would leave used condoms with the notes?
Yeah, he left used condoms with the notes, and the DNA inside the condom matched the DNA found on the original crime scene on April in 1988. They actually stored it and then compared it later, and it matched. So there's really no question at all that the notes are related and done by the same person.
Or somebody related to him.
Right.
But most likely the same person.
Yeah, so in this note right here, just take a look at the one that's on the screen. So you look at the N. So like look in the word person right there, right? See how the N looks kind of like a normal N that somebody would make, and then just 5 characters, whatever. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 5 characters later, there's another N, totally different. It's got a little notch at the top, and then the next N on the next line is different too. There's no.
So it's weird that maybe they're purposely doing that.
Yeah.
Also, the M looks different in one where he says "I am." It's almost like he made an N and then a.
Oh right, then he added some on. Yeah, I think you're right there. That's exactly what he did. He made the same kind of N that he did in person, in the work, and then he said, "Oh, let me make that."
Yeah, because there's no curvature to it. Is it like a flow?
But see, that's weird too, right? Because that means he really, that would lead me to think that he really did write it that way, and then realize, oh, it's an am.
And then also look at the P's. On the second line, there's a curvature on the lower part of the P, and then on the following line, there's no curvature. It's like a straight line.
Oh, I see. A little loopy. Yeah, so let me see if I can find the one of these other notes. Hold on.
Yeah, what's also fascinating is the DNA, profile that FBI were able to get from that. How do they know that he does not have blue eyes?
Yeah.
And also that they're hazel or green, which is unusual. Not many people have hazel or green eyes.
Yeah, it's funny because that's almost the same wording that they used in the Delphi case recently.
Yeah, they said it's definitely not blue eyes.
Yeah, so maybe they did a combination, like they did a sketch, and they also got the DNA profile from a company like Parabon Snapshot, so they know, but the
Delphi?
Right, in that case. But anyways, let's stick with the one, what's on the screen right now, where it says, I will, well blow up your house, is what it says. Now, when I first looked at it, you see you are, but that's not what's really there. You see how there's a U there, but then he sort of wrote the U over another letter, so you can see it.
Right.
Okay, and then that thing that looks like an R is actually a P. Okay, and actually what's interesting is that last image that we just were looking at prior. Let me put that one back up. Right here. The P, there was a P that was pretty close, like in the April, right there. How you're almost not, you got the loop's almost gone. It's really narrow. Yeah. And there was another one that I found that was really close to that. Let me see. Just kind of looking.
So I wonder if there's been any handwriting analysis expert looking at this.
Well, here, like, look at this one on the note. And all of these notes, by the way, everybody, were done on this type of paper that we're looking at on the screen, the yellow paper with stripes. They just scanned them in and sort of removed the stripes from it so we can read it. But look at the P on picture. See that? That's very similar to that one.
And he misspells it to picture.
Yeah, like
You do that on
I didn't
purpose?
even notice that. Okay, because I'm not a good speller. But no, I'm just kidding.
Well, sometimes you
Hey,
just don't see it, and then all of a sudden, you know.
yeah. Hey, he's a good pitcher. He throws a baseball at a.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but see the P on there? That's very similar to the P on
Yeah.
this one right here in the up your down at the bottom there.
Mm-hmm. I noticed in a few places he puts an O where there should be another word, and then the following word is O. Sorry, the following letter is O. So it almost makes me think dyslexia, you know, like he's jumbling his letters.
Yeah.
See, like on that one that you have up right now, it says "Hi, honey," and it's got H. He put the H O. He looks like he put an O first, and then changed it to H,
Right.
and then put the O after that.
What was the letter, or so at the bottom it says or, but that looks like almost like a 7, right?
Yeah, it looks like on the bottom left hand where it says "or I will blow up." It looks like a 7, a 7.
Yeah, that's weird because that doesn't even look anything like the other R. Well, here's what's funny about that one. If there's anything funny in this case, but like, see, if he took away the upper horizontal line, it looks a lot like the R in tomorrow. See, it's almost identical. Like if you see the little horizontal, get rid of that, and boom.
So you think maybe that's underlining what was up there, like what he crossed out?
I guess it's possible,
Looks like an M was crossed out or, squiggled out.
Yeah.
And then it just like happened to cross over and look like
tomorrow
it's a 7.
It looks like maybe. God, he did that twice. Look at that. There's an M, 2 M's in a row on the M local M news.
Yeah.
Almost like he was going to say tomorrow on the morning news, but then realize that's too. That sounds too sophisticated for what I'm trying to sell here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. This is totally crazy. Yeah. So let me go back to. I'm going to load up some Google Earth again. Yeah, so here's one thing that we were looking at. You see this house here? This house it was in a 1988 news article, okay? And then in the 2016 story by Crime Watch Daily, the same image was used. Let me find it. Yeah, right there. So they filmed the same house, and I'll have to show it to you. But see, that's the same house, right? But I can't find that house, and I see that there's scaffolding over there, and I don't think that they would allow somebody to demolish a home in that area because it seems sort of like a historical area. So it looks like it was being remodeled in this image, and I don't know where this is or what significance this house was. I had thought that this was actually the house that she lived at, but apparently it's not. Right? And I think we have an image. Let's see if I can find it. Somebody on, do you know who that was on Facebook?
Who pointed out, or who sent the image of the house?
Yeah.
Yes, in our Facebook group, it was Chris, spelled Tinnes, last name.
Okay, cool. Let me see if I can find that. I have it right here.
Maybe it was, the friend's house that she left from.
Yeah, but apparently the father messaged. Was it Chris? You said.
Yeah.
Yeah, that she actually messaged Michael. I guess he played the video. Michael Tinsley. He played the video in his group, and then he said he sent her back the place they lived, and it's not that place. And then somebody mentioned to me that it was 325 Williams or 315. I can't remember earlier
Hmm.
today, and that wasn't the right one either. But it's
But it's
right.
strange that two news organizations would get it wrong.
Well, yeah, I don't think that. I think that was they're filming something else because obviously that's a key address, or they wouldn't both have. How many years is that? 12, 28 years apart, be filming the same house. Okay, so hold on a second. Almost have it.
It's just, factual stuff.
Yeah. So here you go. Yeah. So it's at 307 West William Street. Okay, and I actually have that on Google Earth. But what Mike said was that the place had been empty since we moved about 4 months after. So they moved, let's say, in August 1988. They just, I can totally see why you'd move, right? You don't want to stay in
Oh,
a
yeah.
place where something,
Hmm.
you're reminded of your child, especially the way that what happened to them, the way they were killed.
Horrific, yeah.
Yeah, and it says then it caught fire a few years later. It caught fire a few years later. New owner was going to fix it up, but never had. As far as I know, it's still empty. Okay, so maybe it's still there. I guess. I thought it said something different
That
earlier.
image you said is from 2011?
Yeah, and so let me go back to Google Earth for you guys. Got to keep almost hitting the stop streaming button. That would suck. Okay, so let's see if I can. Actually, I have it marked, so I'll just fly right over to it. Okay, so this is it right here. This is the house he said he lived at. Okay, and it was still there. This image on Google Earth is 2011, so I can't be totally sure, but let's try to do something here. So there it is right there from above. Now that's street view though in 2016, so let me go back a couple years. Okay, this is 2011 right here. Right, this is May 31st, so that is very it's still there, so there's no
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm going to go forward. Now we're looking at 2014. This is 2015, 2016, 17, and that's it. So October 16th, 2017 is the last satellite image of this area, and that house is still there. So it must still be there today.
Has it been remodeled?
Well, that's what I don't know. He said it caught fire. Maybe it sort of burnt the inside and they fixed it. I don't know. It's funny. Earlier I thought that said it caught fire a few months ago, but it was, I guess, like caught fire a few years later.
So they have never connected this person to other cases, right?
No, not yet. But there are other cases that are sort of similar that people have brought up.
I know there was one that was very similar that went missing a few months after, but the person responsible for that died in 1994.
Yeah.
It was an 8-year-old that was found in a ditch, and somebody was arrested for that. So it can't be him because obviously the notes were written in 2004.
Some other case. Let me see. Someone messaged me. Made a folder on it. I was going to look into it later. Maybe see.
In the same state, or?
Let's see. That's the Amy Renee Mahala. Man, I can't even spell it. Mahalajovic. Like, the last name is Mihalijevic. Okay, but Amy Renee. And
Okay.
I don't have any notes in there, but I would look up. Excuse me. Jeez.
The whole of it. Okay.
I think that one's like the same, right around the same time, like 1990, something like that.
Oh, 1989, state of Ohio.
Yeah, so it's pretty close actually, as a crow
Is
flies.
it?
Yeah.
Bay Village, Ohio.
Yeah, let me type that in too.
She was 10 years old.
And that's I think that's the one that was mentioned in that was that Reddit we were looking at earlier. I mean, some kind of a long thread. That was a show, right?
I think it was Topics.
Yeah, Topics.
Yeah, it was below something to do with the America's Most Wanted show under Topics. People were discussing that.
Yeah.
So she was homicide by stabbing.
I've actually seen this girl's face before. I think I've seen
Her picture looked familiar.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like
So
they have
maybe
a drawing. I can't see it, but there's a wanted for her abduction, like a sketch. Kind of looks, again, another white guy in probably his 30s.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
Looks like, says age 30 to 35.
Oh, there is some similarity, I think.
Right.
So, back then, 1988, in the 80s, someone could basically go from state to state and the databases are not connected. Is that true at that time?
Yeah, I would think back then it would be kind of like, I mean, computers weren't even that prevalent.
Yeah.
They were just starting, like 1980 was when computers, the first sort of PCs came out. 88, I'm sure law enforcement was using them, but it wasn't really the network wasn't that great at the time.
Right. So if somebody went missing in, California, it's not necessarily, they're going to know about it in Indiana.
Right.
If you put in, type in the details and it should bring up anything that might have some similarity.
That must have just made it so difficult back then.
Yeah.
I mean, especially tracking a serial killer. I mean, how you get somebody that kills somebody in a state a certain way, and then they kill somebody in another state. How do they know? Oh, wow, over there in a couple states over, the same thing happened. I mean, they must send out like bulletins and so forth, but
yeah, I mean,
that's not really.
How many missing that were never found?
Oh, there's just so many.
Yeah.
That's the part that's freaky. I mean, since I've been making these videos lately on all kinds of different crimes, I've had a lot of people message me to look into, different cases.
So many. Yeah.
I mean, I've got like, 10 folders right now. I mean, that's just the start, right? Like every day there's a whole bunch. And these are...
Yeah, so once you start doing these videos, you get more and more requests for people.
Yeah, I don't want to disappoint everybody to not bust them out every day, but, I spend a lot more time on my videos
you spend hours.
into stuff. I'm trying to get the story, correct, and especially visually. Like I like to get the find things. I still can't find that house, so if anybody can find that house, let me know. All right.
Well, that at least cleared that up though, with which house she lived in.
Yeah. Yeah. So that other house is something else. So maybe that was the house that she was going to go get her umbrella at, or that was the house where she was playing. Mm-hmm. Like you were saying earlier.
I think I read that they were playing, and then they went outside the house to go somewhere else, and then that's when she separated from them.
Yeah. You know, the thing is, it looks like in that other case that I'm not sure how to say her name, Mahalaja, like she was just thrown onto a ditch on the side of the road.
She was stabbed. It doesn't say any, you know, well, so the MO would be different.
Well, I'm looking at the picture. They actually have helicopter footage. I'm looking at it on the side. I'm trying to figure out. Let me get my screen to. You can keep talking about something, but I'm going to try to fix something here.
So in the Amy Renee Mihaljevic, let's see, she was stabbed, homicide by stabbing. February 8th, 1990 is when she was found.
Okay, here we go.
Ruggles Township, Ashland County, Ohio. It appears her killer also took several souvenirs, including the girl's horse riding boots, her denim backpack, a binder with Buick Best in Class written on the front clasp, and turquoise earrings. So do we know in the April Tinsley case if he took anything?
Well, apparently he was missing a shoe, you know.
Okay.
I kind of wish Mike, I don't know if he's watching this. Did he somehow make it to this?
Mike?
Yeah, the father of April.
Oh,
he knew. I don't know if he knew we were having one of these. That would have been kind of nice. Get him in here, and you know, because I
can just see what's going on in chat. Who is chatting?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he has a hell of a lot more information than any of us.
Yeah. So what time? So it's like 9 o'clock over in Indiana. Okay.
Oh, let's see.
Walking Dead is about to start over there.
Did somebody say that? Are you trying to?
Well, I read that it starts at 9 o'clock.
Oh, 9 o'clock. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah, well, I'm gonna watch Walking Dead too, but it doesn't start here for 2 or 3 hours.
9 o'clock. So it's 6 o'clock on the West Coast here.
Yeah. Yeah. So
it sounds like a different MO. Amy Mihaljevic.
Yeah, but a lot of people said there's some similarities.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so I need to look into it. I haven't really looked into it.
It looks interesting, though.
There might be like a lot of notes, maybe some notes. I have no idea.
Mitochondrial DNA from the crime scene was sampled, which may be used in the future to compare to suspects. So I'm assuming they've already done that.
Yeah.
She was kidnapped October 27, 1989.
That's supposedly like a sketch of the guy.
Yeah.
But
he looks like, it kind of looks familiar in that sketch to me. I don't know why.
Well, sometimes a lot of these sketches, they kind of look.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
maybe he reminds me of Ted Bundy or something. A little bit.
Yeah. Looks like somebody put up like this picture next to it. I mean, wow, glasses and the hair. See, this is where you start getting into, I don't know who this guy is or anything, but they put that up next to her picture, you know.
So on the FBI profile, the DNA, they had good DNA samples because they were able to say, that he had strong ties to Indiana, meaning history.
You're talking about
he probably has generations living in that area.
Yeah, I think that I played the audio I made you guys remember I made the audio version of the FBI profile.
Right.
Right.
Can you put that up again, or?
Yeah, I can find it. I have the link here.
Because it's pretty amazing, how much detail they could get from that, and that nobody has come forward, recognizing him, similar to the Delphi case.
Yeah.
Although that image is not good.
Where is it? Oh, there we go. Control plus. That's how you zoom in Chrome. So you want me to just hear reading this article? Because this is their profile right here.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I think this, when was this made? So this is 2009, right? So then you have to add 9 years to, so it'd be 50s and 60s over here.
Yeah, so in 2009 they're saying that he would have been in his 40s and 50s or 50s?
Right.
Okay.
So he'd be 50s and 60s.
So 50s or 60s now.
Right. Age and race are important
alive.
because they give the police and the public a way to narrow the pool of possible suspects. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I just, like reading that stuff out loud, it's just.
Yeah, I mean, it also, if you go lower down, I think it talks about the demographics of maybe, there you go, lives and or works in the northeast section of Fort Wayne, Allen County. Is that as far down as it goes?
Yeah. Oh, that last summation. Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
So low to medium to low income, owned or borrowed a Polaroid camera in 2004.
Hair on lower leg.
So the 2004 possibly owned / borrowed a forest green pickup truck.
Right.
So where was that person seen, or what were they seen doing in 2004?
Yeah, so that's
what's a witness,
interesting, right? Like we don't really get to know that kind of stuff. Like that's the 2004 during the note barrage.
Yeah.
And so somebody must have, it's possible that the same truck was seen in a couple locations, and because of that, they're associating it with the crime. I mean, the notes.
It wouldn't necessarily be the truck that he was seen kidnapping her with, but
well, yeah, that was totally different.
Saw that he, in 2004, somebody saw somebody putting something, in a.
Yeah. Well, that was 1988. So he had a blue. Yeah. The killer apparently had a light blue truck back then. That's if the eyewitnesses are, correct.
Yeah. So how do they, well, I guess this is just FBI profiling, how they know he's likely to be low to medium to low income. Is that just in the way that he speaks, in his notes?
Well, what was that show we started watching? We actually showed how this all came about, the profiling. Remember that show?
How they were able, scientifically, how they were able?
Well, no, it's a show it starts off. Yeah, go ahead. What's the name of it?
Yeah, it was on Netflix. I think it's a
Mindhunter
show called Hunters.
Yeah, Mindhunter.
Mindhunters.
Yeah, it kind of showed you how it all started.
And it's based on the FBI profiling that started in the 70s. So loosely based off the true life of John Douglas.
Yeah, and they interview them to figure out what the patterns are of serial killers.
Yeah, some of these FBI profilers who were really good could tell, what profession they were likely, or back then when they didn't have DNA, they could also tell you, from profiling whether they were white or,
right.
That's pretty fascinating how they do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, in this case, they actually have a
DNA profiling.
Yeah, DNA now, and there was a witness, and it looks kind of like the witness kind of had, looks like he had it pretty close, white guy in his 30s, sandy brown hair.
Have you ever looked at? Well, also witness in this case said he was white, I'm sure. Have you ever looked at geographic profiling?
I have not.
Okay, because that's also kind of interesting to me, where they, there's some software out there where you can, I don't know if it's available to general public, that FBI use, where they can plug in all this information. It will, draw a map, where this person most likely lives, maybe connect them to other geographically. Yeah. That's for another discussion.
Yeah, how would they do that though? What would be what would link?
How does it work?
Yeah, like what would link? I mean, when you say geographic profiling.
Well, let me remind myself how they do that.
I think I remember you telling me about this like months ago.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know that FBI and maybe other law enforcement, there are softwares for this geographic profiling. So it's a criminal investigative methodology that analyzes the locations of a connected series of crimes to determine the most probable area of offender residence.
Oh, I see.
So, in this case, the leaving of the notes were probably all part of that, that they can do some geographic profiling from that. He's concentrating in this area, so he probably lives in outside of that area.
Well, you could look at it like in this case, their profile was a certain income range, right? So maybe there's certain neighborhoods that have high-end homes that he wouldn't be affording, so he's going to live in this area, right?
So was that area, what type of area was that?
Well, what's weird is there's like street to street, it's totally different. You'll have one street that has looks like really nice homes, and then a couple of streets later, the same sort of nice underlying home, but they weren't kept up. Like, sort of they're becoming dilapidated. Is this school
back in 1980s, or this is like now?
Well, even now when you look at the... I'm kind of stuck in the middle of these trees. Yeah, well, this is the school that she was going to. Right here.
Okay, let's see.
Right here.
Okay.
Fairfield Elementary School, and
how far was that?
I don't think it's far at all. I had it. Let me see. Right there. Let me get rid of this 3D building. It makes things harder to. Yeah. So let's just measure that. I'm saying like maybe a half mile, maybe.
So she would probably typically walk to school?
Yeah, it's 0.36 miles to here. And I guess, now we have the home, so let's see. Okay, right there. So her home was about, as the crow flies, .59 miles. So not really close. I mean, easily walkable.
And so if he's not, say, a mailman or somebody that's always has an excuse to be in that area, he could just, know that there's an elementary school there and kind of hang out, stalking.
Right. I actually don't think it's going to be a mailman. And that was just sort of one of my... I just threw it out there, and then it thought it was funny that that when I was doing Street View, there's a mailman driving around. It was kind of like live as I was doing
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
It was definitely somebody familiar with the area. I would think that's safe to say.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it, doesn't it?
And maybe someone that doesn't travel a lot, or who knows, maybe they do, What, are there any professions where...
Crescent Moon said, hey, I'm a mailman. Hey, not all of you are bad, okay?
Yeah.
Just a couple.
I know, truckers get a bad rap too, don't they?
Yeah, and so do people that work at a post office. Like, that's when they say, you're going to go postal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Are there any professions that have typically, 3 or 4 months off, like from March through or April through June?
Deep sea crabbers.
Deep sea crab.
That's right.
Really? Those are the off seasons?
Well, I don't know when they do it, but you watch The Deadliest Catch. It seems like it's all during the winter, and then they have.
Yeah, well, there are seasons, that's for certain. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're just thinking in terms of, he always leaves things through, April. I mean, yeah, March, April through June.
Yeah, every single thing that's ever has happened that we're aware of is March through June, so a 4-month period. So she was killed. Her body, obviously her body was found. Then the note on a barn, and all 4 of the other notes and everything were all done on 4 months on a calendar, but not, obviously we've talked about it's over 16-year period.
And so, how about the Polaroid camera? Was that, 1990, 2004? Is that, it's not that typical to use a Polaroid camera, right?
No, I mean, I think you just put the cartridge in and press a button.
Yeah, but I mean, those were used much more weren't they, in the 70s and 80s?
Yeah, it's a little weird. I mean, there must be a reason. I know I didn't show this earlier, but maybe this sort of relates to that a little bit. We actually have a picture of the, this was on America's Most Wanted.
And I think it was also released on the FBI.
Yeah. So this is actually a picture of the sex object that was used. Okay.
But that was on America's Most Wanted.
But I blurred it out a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
So that looks like sort of like this antique thing, and then now we're talking about a Polaroid, right? Camera, which those are old too. Those are from the 70s. So he has these things that are old.
Yeah. Like he is,
So I don't want to leave this on the screen too long, but
yeah. And there is a clip where John Walsh talks about exactly what that is.
Yeah, there was an article saying, I actually have the name of it's called a Benoit Squirmy Manual Crank, apparently, which is just, God, what a crazy.
And I think I was looking I think it might have been on Web Sleuths, and somebody was talking and saying that they worked in the area at an adult shop, which wasn't too far from there at that time.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's any way to know, which store that was.
I don't know. Hey, you're going to have to fill in for a second. I got to use the facility.
I would have to find that comment again.
Do you hear me? You're going to have to fill in. Okay, bye.
Okay, so looking at the comments, see if there's anything out here. Yeah, so I don't have the comment with me, but somebody had mentioned that there was an adult store not too far from where she lived, and he worked in that store at that time. And he said that, that image of the sex toy was something that he named exactly what that was. So it's possible that the perp bought it from there. I don't know if that was ever looked into, if anybody knows that. And so I think I'm going to put a link to the Hangouts call. I don't know if anybody wants to call in. I'm going to put that link in the chat section. Okay.
Yeah.
Hang on. Okay.
Yeah, back now. Oh boy, I got to put municipal on 300.
What's that?
Got to put municipal and straight drop on 300 just for the sake of doing it.
Oh.
I'm not really sure what what they're typing in over there, but they're actually in my chat right now.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to join in on the discussion, I put a link there in the chat. I don't know, Gray, do you have to send that to an email address, an individual, or can they?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody wants to come on that might have some insight into this.
Can they just go to that link, or do you have to send that to their email as an invite?
No, Andy said you speak perfect English.
Oh, it goes in and out.
Yeah. Well, you don't need a wrench in this one, straight drop, because your people don't treat you the same, barbaric way that your group does. So you're fine. Don't worry about it. Let's see. So anybody want to come up on here? And no.
Yeah, so what else?
Yeah.
Have you covered all the information, or is there?
I'm trying to think. I think there is. Let me look at my notes. I have this huge text document.
Yes, I mean, that could be an interesting aspect if there was an adult store nearby where he potentially could have bought that sex toy. I'm sure if there was that possible connection that's been looked into. I'm sure it's long gone by now, though.
Yeah, well, the thing is that item, I think, was old in 1988.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think that doesn't look like some sort of
Oh, see, I thought the commenter said that they sold that item at that time.
I don't know.
So I should have copied that. I was just like reading through comments.
Really? It looks like it's wooden with a crank on it. I don't know if that's something.
Yeah. Man, this is sickening.
I don't get all these comments. What are the comments on there right now? They're just so unrelated to anything. Is anybody going to actually... Let's discuss the case here. All right? I will kill again. I'm trying to read some of these comments.
Oh, somebody said the adult store was closer to Indy. Is that Indianapolis, I'm guessing?
Okay, was that the only place they had those?
Sure, I should find that comment if it was on Web Sleuths or was that on Topics. I think he even said the name of the store. Okay, so let's go back. Can you hear when I type on my laptop?
Yeah, Crime Watch Daily has one, but I've also shown that on here a million times, the image of the composite they got from DNA.
Oh, yeah. So, and that was back in 2009 when they were able to do that?
Yeah. See, the difference is when I go, I'm just going to comment on, see, they're saying when I go over to Straight Drop saying I distract them, but the problem is I actually just go there and say hello. The distraction is created by their people.
Oh.
I mean, the funny thing is they all attack and start cussing and calling me names.
Oh, really?
And then if I respond back to them, they say, "Oh God, look at what Gray's saying. He's causing problems." And then they, everybody knows this too. They message me on the side and say, "Guy,
Are you?
And
is this on the chat feature?
Yeah, I'm looking at chat right now, and they're acting like I'm causing problems over there, and But the difference is I'll just say, "Hey, how's it going?" And someone will say, "Hey, Gray, you're a cop," and I'll go, "No, I'm not a cop," and then I'll say something, and then they go on and on and on and on, and then it creates an issue. But that issue wouldn't happen if they would just let me be me, and they never do. Like this municipal principality person here, she's so intellectually dishonest. So she was in there watching the comments and followed along, but then when she realized it wasn't the popular thing to do, she changed it up a little bit.
I see.
Yeah, she made it sound like that. Oh, I didn't realize. Okay, yeah, look at Gray. It's just amazing. Never seen so many people that just aren't really.
Is this from other cases that come over to watch you, or?
Yeah, well, Straight Drop doesn't really talk about cases. He just talks about the drama happening around the one case, the Kanika Jenkins case, and then
Kanika Jenkins.
That's it. I mean, that's it, right? So, you go over there and you just get hell for it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I do anyways. And then they come here and they're doing what they think I do. Like, they're trying to create this drama, but in reality, I don't do that when I go over to there. I go there and I'm just saying hello. I'll make some comments like, "Hey, why are just stuff," and then it's the attacks on me that create
follow
the issue, and then that's really what happens. And people with good minds actually see that. But they don't actually. I don't know. I don't really. I feel like I just got sidetracked onto something totally unrelated to anything. Just
that's the nature of social media.
Yeah. And so what I just did right there is exactly what they claim I do, but in reality, they came here just to do that. Where when I go there, I don't go there to do that. It gets started when I'm called all these names. And a cop, and then I work for the, Rosemont, and all this kind of crap.
Don't look at the chat.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I'm going to do. So.
Okay, so I was just looking through websleuths.com, and there was one person that was that they talked about. His name was Roy Hensley. He was responsible for the 1988 abduction and killing of. Oh, sorry. They thought he was also responsible. But he died in 94, so since the notes were left in 04, he was not the killer of April. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess this Hensley guy had killed somebody else in 89.
How did you spell his name? Hensley or Hensley?
Hensley, Hensley.
Yeah.
Roy.
All right. Okay.
And he was convicted of killing an 8-year-old soon after, and I think that was in Indiana. I'm not positive.
Yeah, so it can't be the same person.
No, not unless it was somebody related to him carrying on the notes, which seems unusual. I mean, that wouldn't be the case.
I'm trying to
and
figure
obviously, no, it's not him because the DNA wouldn't match either.
Yeah, the part that seems so weird to me is that he would actually, knowing that DNA mattered, is something that it was in existence, that the condoms left in the plastic bags. That's just sort of saying, it's taunting.
Yeah, he knew that he didn't have his DNA in CODIS.
Right.
Like confident.
Yeah.
So somebody who's smart enough to stay out of trouble, yet, can, commit a crime like that. Very taunting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just saying, you kind of wonder why he left that toy there originally, though, too. Just to say...
20 feet from the body?
Yeah, I mean, 20 feet's nothing, That's half the length of that barn we were just looking at. So you figure.
So I think it's BTK killer. I think he posed as, somebody from a security company to get into houses and stalk. Then he'd stalk or these women, and then go into their houses later.
So is that where all the? It seems like that shows up in shows a lot. That must be
that was in that show, that Netflix show, Mindhunter, where they sort of showed BTK was going to be, the next coming up serial killer.
See, the thing is I mean, this guy, I wonder if he just drove around a lot or something.
Yeah.
Knew.
And
like
just looking through comments, someone was saying that people who might not look out of place would be dog catchers, street repairmen, utility workers, telephone workers who climb utility poles, tree trimmers, all kinds of different rail workers.
Yeah.
And did somebody say or make some sort of comparison to there being a lot of train tracks around there?
Yeah, there are train tracks, but like we were talking about, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't remember why somebody was, saying it seems significant.
Yeah. So this is, I think this is right here. This is right where her body was found, right down in there. As a matter of fact, oh wait, I'm not showing it. Sorry, hold on. Okay. I was just. You got to remember to always transition the scenes over here. Okay.
So, yeah.
So this is
okay. That's the location.
Yeah, and there's even that little creek going.
It's right off the street there.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Not even hidden or anything.
Well, I mean, it's hidden just by the fact that it was off the side of the road. But again, it seems like he sort of meant for her to be found, because it was just like right here. Yeah. So somebody would find it soon, maybe not that day, but she wasn't
somebody
covered.
Could just literally driven by and just
right. And like in my video, you can see this exact spot. That's where that that's where Crime Watch Daily was filming.
Was it in the creek there or whatever that is, or just on the side of the road?
I think it's there was somebody looking in the creek, but I think it was just right here because I have footage of them kind of walking down in that direction.
Okay.
Like here's the Crime Watch. This is an actual footage from 1988. This shot right here.
Oh.
Okay, so.
That's a crime scene photo. Okay.
Yeah, like they were actually filmed it.
Is there any video from that? 1988.
I think there is some in that. Let me see if I can find the.
Also, can't find the America's Most Wanted show. I guess they sort of disappear over time. Would be curious to see that.
Which show? Oh yeah, I couldn't.
The America's Yeah,
I was looking for that.
He didn't. Just could find some clips of it.
I'm trying to find the Crime Watch Daily episode here.
And I see there is a Facebook page. It's been created by family and friends to bring awareness to her case.
Speaks out. Let's see. Okay. Crime Watch Daily full episode. Okay.
This is the face of absolute evil, and it's just been released.
Just a second. That's not how I wanted to open that. I'm going to open this up with good old VLC player.
When was this Crime Watch show?
I think it was 2016.
Okay.
I think it was actually before the, you know how the show is sort of popular now. It was like when it was smaller prior. Like this is when it first started. Let's see. I'm gonna scroll through this, and this is the mother right here, Janet Tinsley.
Oh.
I don't know if this is the, that looks like the, that doesn't look like the full one. Hold on a second.
These Crime Watch shows are generally in like 10, 15-minute segments.
Yeah. This one was only one 8
This
minute.
is the face of
1 8-minute segment.
Okay.
So here it is right here.
Okay.
So let's just scrub through it. There's the mother again. I wonder if we could find that street. I think I saw that one.
And why are they filming that street?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's B-roll footage. Well, they call it, there's a lot of B-roll footage, like you're just showing meaningless things. They seem to really want to show the street address on this one, so that's how I found the Hoagland and Cretan. Or Creighton, however you want to say it. This does have old crime, like right here. See? That's like a good example right there.
Yeah, that is.
Now, I don't know if, is that creek right there, though? See, that's the thing. Let me look at that again. I'll just put Google Earth on here. Let me go down. Alright, so that could be back this way. Like, I guess... Oh, wait, we can tell just by where that tree is. Hold on a second. Oh, that's... Well, it might be too long before... Let's see. So I think... Let's see. Right there... I don't see this metal thing anymore, or either one of those two signs. It almost seems like that might be the creek right down there.
Okay.
I was thinking that it was on the other side of the creek. Let me go back a little bit.
Yeah, because the street looks slightly different.
Yeah. I hope you can see. I got two up here at the same time. Can you see it?
Yes.
Alright. So I can see that driveway up here. That's probably this one. Unless that's new. Actually, I think that might even be this next one. I think this might be new. I don't think there was a house there, as a matter of fact. Because if you look at there's a barn there in 1988, but now there seems to be a house there. So I think this is a driveway to the new... Let me just look at this.
Okay.
We might even be able to do some detect... Okay, see, that is a house there now. See that?
Yeah.
All right, now if we go back, let's see what happens. 2014, that's there. 2011. I'm going to go all the way back to the very first, 1998. So that's 10 years later. It's a really narrow... That looks like that could be. And I can just barely see the drive. Let me show you this other scene here.
Yeah.
So right here. See, here's that shot from above. And it looks like you can kind of see... Barely see a driveway through the trees from that little house thing that's right there.
Oh, so you think it's in there?
Yeah. I mean, well, I'm just trying to explain to you what I'm looking at.
Okay.
So I'm going to go back to this, and I think that this driveway up here, right there, is the second one, perhaps. It could be the first one, but I know I can't see another one. And it looks grassy there, but that could be. But I think it kind of seems like the creek might be right down there, now that I look at it again.
Okay.
Let me put the more recent Google Earth and go back down to Street View here. You see, see where all the bushes are? I mean, the dense trees are right there. So I guess I think my initial instincts may be correct, because see, the bushes start right here. You see, right in this area. And this one, it's right there, but the creek is behind it. So like this camera is almost like it's right. The guy's standing on, you know, right next to the creek or back a little bit. You know, he might be back here,
right,
zoomed in with the camera, and I like this bunch of trees right here. I don't know where that is because it's not back far enough. It could be this clump right here, you know. And then
but that reflective sign is not there anymore.
Yeah, I don't think so. No. But yeah, you can definitely see that it rises right there. This is definitely, I mean, I'm 100% sure this is the right spot. And the reason
you could do tree matching as well.
Yeah, it's hard to, because it's such a narrow...
Such a long period of time between.
Yeah, it's also a tight shot, so I can't... But also, like, it was cool when I was looking at... I mean, you saw that in the video, but in the video that I made, you can see up in that driveway and that house up there, how there's an island in the middle of the driveway? Okay, now for the people who haven't seen this, if I go over to Street View... Yeah, let me load this up. Really, you don't even need Street View. You can see right here they patched the driveway in there, and that's where that island was.
Oh yeah.
As a matter of fact, you know, Street View you can really see it. It's just see that. So 100% that that's the right spot right there. No chance it's not.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, the other crime scene photo that is in that same video, well, I think it was one by Crime Watch Daily. So let me oops, wrong thing there. Hold on a second. Okay, so let's keep scrubbing through this, see if we can find some. See right there? Okay, so you see that shot, right?
Yeah.
Let me keep, okay, right there. Okay, so that shot on Google Earth is right here. And it's just far away, but right back here, that's the same tree that we see in the background on this one. It's right there, but it's around the corner. You know? It's zoomed in too, but you can see the bank and everything looks the same.
Yeah.
Same. Right there. So I think based on that, you know, I guess we can just say she was found in this area right here.
Yeah.
All right. So what's going on?
So I found the comment that I was talking about. Says someone said he could have bought this at what was known at the time as the Annex adult bookstore that was located, and I think still is, on 38th and something, Pendleton Pike, perhaps Indianapolis. It is just south of Fort Wayne off the interstate. You can get on and off the interstate and be right there at this adult bookstore, less than a half hour away from Fort Wayne. And then it says it's a rubber dildo with a crank on it. Back in 86, 87, I used to work there. We had a lot of people come down from Fort Wayne to buy their toys. There were no adult bookstores, I believe, at that time in Fort Wayne. And we sold a lot of these adult toys.
That particular type of toy?
That sounds like what that person is saying.
I don't know.
And we sold a lot of these adult toys.
Sometimes it seems like people just like to sort of insinuate themselves and
yeah, whether or not this is true or not, but so it was called the Annex Adult Bookstore. So he may have bought it there.
Yeah.
If there were no others, you know, around in the vicinity.
Right.
And he didn't if he didn't travel much.
Yeah, sometimes I wish we were more like how Europe is.
You mean with the
CCTV and the, you know, they've had that for years, right? Like, I mean,
yeah, like if you live in London, then you probably filmed on average 150 to 200 times a day.
Yeah.
Every, you know.
And the thing is,
everywhere.
everybody's always. I mean, I'm not like. I mean, I like the United States way more than. But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
There's so many criminals out there now. So many crappy, horrible people. That it almost seems. You know, if you're not doing something wrong, who cares? They only look at CCTV if there's something bad that happened, and then they can go track it. You know?
CCTV has solved some murder cases, or has been a big part of solving it.
Well, I would say it's like probably hundreds and hundreds of murders. I mean,
yeah, because well, maybe it's just a matter of how big the country is. Maybe it's just too big of a job to do that in the U.S. Everywhere, remote. But in England, for example, they're everywhere, even in the countryside.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I'm not really a big fan of being, having cameras, like you just said, filming me 200 times a day. But I also wouldn't really care that much, like.
Oh, it could also help save you because, hey, I was here, not there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you can say
like if you were being accused of something and, well, obviously you weren't there because you were somewhere else being caught on camera.
I wonder what the wrongful conviction rate is over there compared to here.
Yeah, I haven't looked at that. Probably.
I would imagine it would be it'd be more like over there. It seems like I watch a lot of those shows you have me watch on the crimes, and they really have all these surveillance footage and everything's tied together, and they have a pretty strong law. You have your advocates and or what do you call those? Not the what are they called? The lawyers. They're not called lawyers. They're solicitors. Solicitor, right?
Solicitors.
Or maybe that's the prosecutor. I can't remember. But they're
barrister or something.
Well, on those shows, it seems like the solicitor is who the prosecutor is.
Solicitor is like an attorney.
An attorney.
I don't know if it's for the prosecutor or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, CCTV, some people say, well, that, infringes on your privacy. But if you're not doing anything wrong, then why does it matter? That's one argument.
Right.
Or maybe you're doing something a little bit wrong, but a lot of these houses now have cameras outside.
Yeah, I mean,
you see people. There's that thing now where they steal packages from your front yard. Your patio or whatever. People are being filmed doing that, getting into there.
I think, a lot of people, excuse me, have surveillance cameras at their homes now. They have that one. Everyone, the doorbell ringing one now. They're pretty cool. Like you can set them up, and then it sends you a text message, something like that.
If somebody rings your doorbell.
Yeah, like rings your doorbell or shows up, like they'll send you a text message with a screenshot, and then you can actually talk to the person. You can actually see them there, and then go to it, and then get your speaker on, and while they're standing there, go, "Hey, what's going on?"
Just say, "I'm home. Get lost."
Yeah, well, I have one, and when my wife was out, I was actually away, and she was like doing some like potting or something. And then I saw her. I just looked at I got a text message that said, "Hey, there's a motion." So then I saw her there, and I go, "Hey,"
That's cute.
Yeah. It was
well, can you hear? Could you hear from there where she was?
Yeah. Yeah, she heard me. She tried to talk to me the other day too, but I guess I was. It didn't work at the time or something, but it's pretty cool. Yeah, you guys should look them up.
Yeah, that's really good because a lot of people ring the doorbell, and if you're not home, then they break in.
Right.
So you can just answer the doorbell and say yes. They wouldn't know that you're not inside. Is that right?
Yeah, they wouldn't know because you would just talk to them and they'd think, oh, they're inside. They saw me, and then maybe they'd start running. They also have the ability to. These are called. Look them up. They're called Argus. Let's see, Rio Tech Argus. They're like $99 a piece.
Oh.
But you can attach them to your phone, and they can actually. You can put an alarm on them too. Like if it detects motions, it'll make a sound.
But how much is the security camera that you put outside your house?
That's it. The whole 99.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like you can get. Like you should probably get 2 of them or something, right? Like one sort of facing out, and then one.
And where do you put them?
You can just go up, put them off the ground, maybe 10, wherever you want to put them. Just make it so someone can't reach up and grab it.
So it's not visible, or is it?
You can always see them. Almost all surveillance cameras you can see, but you can put them in your home too. They have the magnet one too. So like if you're leaving the house, you could have one like maybe shoot at the door. Like put them out there and then just move one inside or whatever. And then when you're gone, it'll film it. Then you can just turn it off when you're home. I mean,
that's pretty cool because you typically think security cameras are really expensive, right?
Yeah. Say that part again. I was reading something.
That you typically think that, security cameras are expensive to buy.
Yeah, and they're hard to set up, like with the wiring. You got to get somebody to wire all the stuff, and these aren't like that at all. They actually have, they, can send the video out to the cloud.
Yeah.
Of the movie.
And they also have the fake security cameras, right?
Yeah, they do have some of those.
Because the complex that I live in, down the driveway, they were having problems with people breaking into cars. So the owners put cameras, fake cameras. Huh. I think one might have been real, but the others were fake. And somebody literally, in the middle of the night, got up there and stole the fake one.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's a reason not to put one of these cheaper ones up. Just a real one. I mean, 90.
Yeah, real one, and it's only $99.
Yeah, and they have. I guess now there's a newer one, $129, that's got night vision. Like the other ones detect movement. And
night vision would be good.
It's got
worth spending the extra.
Yeah.
$25.
That's what I think too. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, so I guess it's one of those things to weigh. The problem with what we have here is we don't really have any CCTV meant for. I mean, basically what we have here are surveillance cameras, surveillance cameras that businesses have or homes.
Yeah.
And then cops just get lucky, like wow.
So you don't have any kind of CCTV in cities in the U.S.?
Well, I think there's maybe some, like maybe New York has something. But I just think it's like everybody has a lot of surveillance cameras. So like you're filming the room, and then you can sort of see outside the window, but that wasn't really intentional. I mean, even if it was bricked in.
I've actually seen CCTV trucks on the street in England that are filming from trucks.
Oh, yeah? I wonder what that's about.
Yeah, they're just parked, in an area.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be like, this total Big Brother thing. I don't know. Man.
Well, in my mind, if it would solve a murder, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, I guess it's one of those arguments people have. You give up your liberties to feel safer, and that's sort of how. Yeah. Sometimes they do that to then that's where the conspiracy theories come in, where everybody goes, "Oh, it's a false flag. They're trying to make it look like this happened, so then they can take away our rights." That's why you have all these conspiracy theory videos, stuff like that.
So it's like, if you're being filmed 100, 200 times a day in London, like every single person is, do you think they're going to be sitting there looking at that? They just go back to it if something happens, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or no, some of them are live. They do have people there live watching what's going on.
Yeah, like if you have an event that's, live, like the Queen's driving down the street, of course they're going to watch that live. They want to catch somebody before they do something. You know,
it's like with the terrorist stuff on the tube stations. They were able to go back,
right,
and track, you know, where they got on the tube, which train station they got off from to connect to the tube. Yeah. So they identified them very fast. I'm talking about the one in 2005, July.
Yeah, it was right. Yeah, I was thinking like 2004. I remember that one.
Yeah, where they had, you know, video of the people in the tube station.
Yeah, and that's, you know, if you don't have that, you don't see them. And you rely on somebody saying, well, he had sandy brown hair, light skin, and a blue jacket and jeans. Oh, you mean so he looked like every other person walking down the street that day? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look how, like in the Delphi case, we even have a picture of the guy. And the funny thing is he looks like every other guy in the town. You know? You know, so even that didn't work. You know? But it helps, right? Like, I mean, without that, you'd have no clue what this guy looked like. But, I mean, I've seen pictures of people, like, at events and in that town, and, man, they all seem...
They all seem to look alike with the blue jacket and the jeans.
It's almost...
And the hat.
It's almost kind of weird. It's almost like the guy went there first, scouted around, and said, what do people wear here? Okay, that's what I'm going to put on. You know? That's what it almost feels like. It's crazy.
Yeah, I wish on the Delphi case the FBI would reveal a profile.
It'd be cool to do just that exact DNA thing.
Mm-hmm. You know? If they have the DNA.
Right.
And that may be how they know that he doesn't have blue eyes, but they're holding back the profile for some reason. I don't know why they would hold back a profile, though.
Yeah. So I don't really know why they... you know, I wish they would release more information in that one. And,
yeah.
Maybe I should. I haven't checked my email since I've been on here. Maybe somebody's email. Hold on. Oh, let me get on a different screen.
So let me see if there's anything. Okay. Well, somebody says.
Go ahead.
Somebody says snooze. Good night.
Oh, she said I'm low sounding. It's weird because I'm looking at the bars over here. It looks like I'm loud too. Maybe I wasn't as close enough to the mic.
Mm-hmm.
I just got an email. I mean, I got an email at...
Oh, that they couldn't hear what you were saying?
From Renee. Yeah. She told me that. So am I, like, how much... Am I way quieter than Ada? Everybody? Like, how about now? Is this louder? Do I need to be this close to the mic? Let's see what they say. Well, you'd think the Delphi case already has a profiler.
Yeah, but they don't.
Well, how do we know that?
I mean, they probably do have a profile, but they didn't release it. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Why?
Well, she said profiler, like a person. And I'm pretty sure they have one. It doesn't say why don't they have a profile. I mean, did I read that wrong? What did that person write?
Profiler as opposed to profile, you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they have a profile and a profiler. I mean, I think even at that first press conference, that guy was sort of what he was, right? Remember he talked like that? Like he said what to look for, that kind of thing? Yeah,
but that was very, small, just your basic. It wasn't like he's probably from this area or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay, how about the audio now? I'm having Renee, she's out there.
Okay.
I don't want to have to put my face right on it, but I can turn up the gain a little bit. Does that sound better? Or, I mean, maybe not better, but just louder. Yeah. Okay, that's better. Okay.
Well, it sounds good to me.
All right. Yeah, it's weird because I'm looking at the bars in my program here, and it almost sounds like I'm blowing it out, you know. You're supposed to try to keep it like -12, and I'm like at 0, which is 12
so somebody's saying if you turn down Ada, then Gray needs to be loud. Does that mean I'm too loud?
Well, every time you speak, it goes all the way to the end of the decibels. Here, let's try this one. I'm going to try to... I know that this one is the... Now I hear some kind of weird... Can you hear that sound?
Yeah.
It's like fuzzy.
Maybe it's... Is it because I'm on a Mac?
Oh, I don't know.
The audio is louder or something?
All right, let me see. Say something now.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, I just cut you down. I'll put you up at like... How about like right there? Can you...
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Is that better?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure out how to... I know that the... in this program that I'm using... I think... Yeah, it's hard to actually adjust like your audio. Well, we'll figure it out. Just starting to do these things. I'm not an expert at the lives. I can do the
You'll just have to finesse it.
That's right.
And get it all, you know, get the professional, get the camera and the background and the lights and all that.
That's right. And then a blue screen, and I can be just like Straight Drop, have some animation going on in the background over and over again.
Yeah.
You know, that'd be great.
You can even do it in your living room.
So, let me ask. So is the audio now too high, or are we about the same? Anybody listening out there? So I'm going to... Testing 1, 2, 3. Now you say something.
A lot of people are saying that there was nothing wrong with the audio to begin with.
Oh. Okay. Well, I trust Renee. She sent me an email. I think sometimes I was far away from the mic, so it didn't sound clear, or it might have been clear but low. And now I can hear it better. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
But do you guys have any questions about the April Tinsley case? Maybe we can show you some more stuff about it. Seems like we went over it pretty well, though.
Yeah, you could always do another one, you know, get some questions. And
well, it would be nice. It'd be cool to actually get a hold of the father. I don't know how easy, you know, what he would feel about that. But maybe have him on, and then we can fill in the gaps that we seem to be missing. I'm sure he knows more information. I mean, at least you'd hope, you know.
Yeah, well, I think there is a Facebook page, so I could find that for you, and you could join.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
Maybe talk.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I think I saw the name of it.
Right.
Hang on a second.
So how many viewers do we have on here tonight?
At this moment?
Oh, it looks like we got up to 49 at one point.
Okay.
It's not too bad.
Oh, and all thumbs up, no thumbs down.
That's a miracle.
Because sometimes you get... Why do they put thumbs down even before you have the show? Like a couple of them do it.
Huh.
Okay. See.
I'm getting like the stream says bad on it for some reason right now.
And what does that mean?
It says YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming as such. And now it says good again. So it's kind of going in and out of that. I don't know what that means.
Interesting.
So I guess they're going to have buffering where it waits. I don't know if I'd have to ask him or be watching it myself, but I don't see that.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to put this... Is this it?
Are you sending me the Facebook page?
Yeah. Okay, this is a group. Okay, this is it. I'm going to put this... right here.
I don't even remember what I said it's a miracle about. What did I say that about?
Oh, no thumbs down.
Oh, I see.
Okay, you see that link?
Did you send it to Facebook?
No, to Hangouts.
Oh, Hangouts, okay.
I'll also put it in the chat if anybody else wants to join or request to join. Haven't been on there yet.
Do you think that that's, this is the one?
I think so.
Okay. I think I'm going to join it.
Okay.
Now, why don't you go in there? We can both.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd like to, it'd be cool to be able to help in some way, figure out something. I mean, if the thing with me is I need more information on cases to then put stuff together. I mean, this one has a lot of crazy stuff. It's interesting. It's just kind of like then you just run out at some point. I mean, I guess that's why it's a cold case,
Yeah, so sometimes when you have to gather information, there's lots of misinformation out there. So it's good to be able to get the accurate info.
Yeah, definitely. So does anybody there want to look up anything at all, or? I think we've got like a couple more minutes, unless something interesting comes up. I'm called. I think it was just we just fill time in their ears and they do a chat.
Yeah.
But
Background noise.
I think it's interesting.
Yes, just looking at. Someone said that they like the blood spatter on your screen. April's father would be excellent on here sometime. Okay.
Who said that? Was that?
Who said that was? I scrolled too far up. It was MX. Somebody. I lost the spot.
Yeah.
Oh, X2 Malandi.
Yeah, that's what I used to call him, but I think he's just Andy.
Andy?
Yeah.
Oh, is that your
I don't know why the connection to streaming's crappy. Primary.
Is Andy the one that was being chased around?
Yeah.
Or followed around? Okay.
Yeah. He was the one that had the whack jobs. They're doing the same thing he's doing, right? At the cemetery.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, Basically, they do that kind of stuff so they can look cool to their friends on Facebook. They can say, hey, I turned somebody in today. I'm so important.
Yeah.
And
he
say,
says, hey, if I go to Delphi, I am wearing an Ocean Beach bright, busy, bright shirt.
Where does he say that? The last one I see him say it says, I did not know about this murder. Thanks for filling in. Was it up higher than that?
It's somewhat near the end. Like.
I didn't see that.
Maybe half and 3/4 of the way down.
On what killer? Watcher? Which case? The case we're talking about or something else? Because I've been talking about it. I think my take, if I was just going to say, it seems to me like somebody who knows the area, the whole area, pretty well. Obviously a pedophile. We know that he's between, at the time, I think he was probably like between 20 and 30-ish.
Hi, Easy.
But usually they're a little bit older than that. That's the thing. So I wonder if, so you're actually on the video itself, right? Out there?
Who?
Oh, there it says, high grade. Okay, I see that now. I'm just reading the comments over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think he's dumb, this person. He writes to make himself look dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But dumb people don't go and play all these like tricks that are kind of like at a high level. He's doing You know, the thing, like he knew that his DNA wouldn't be found. Dumb people don't even really know what that even means. You know, I mean, I wouldn't be identified is what I meant. He knew that they were going to find his DNA because he said, "Hey, here's my DNA," and they didn't. They weren't able to find him. That's because he's not in the system, and he knew that. He knew that, and dumb people don't do that. And you can also tell in the writing. I think that it looks intentional because like I was saying earlier, the ends, like on one note, there's 3 ends that all look totally different. And people writing naturally don't do that, but if you're trying to sort of muck something up, you're just going to kind of, okay, here's another N, and then draw an N weirdly. You know, you're not going to. So I think that's intentional. And this guy really wanted attention. He was seeking to be noticed that he was doing these crimes. I don't know why he waits 14 years between them. That part's weird that after 14 years he felt like he needed to have more attention. Like what made him after 14 years go, hey, if you don't show this note to somebody.
I know.
Because like 14, he didn't seem to care during all those 14 years, but why does all of a sudden now he cares about it?
So it's kind of like with BTK, why did he suddenly send, years and years later, the note that got him caught?
Yeah. See, I think these people actually want to be caught. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, because they
want to tell their story.
BTK was like a sociopath, just,
right.
Something in their brain.
Yeah. I just got added to that.
This desire for attention, or...
I was just added to that group, by the way.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah, it almost seems like they want to tell their story, too. Like, I want to tell somebody all the stuff I've been doing. I've been tricky. I've been so clever. I just want to tell you. So come on. And
yeah, because once BTK was caught, he just talked and talked and talked.
Right. And that's kind of what this guy, I think that's what this guy kind of wanted to be, but then he just kind of, where is he now? I mean, that was 2004. Did he just die right after that? Was that his last hurrah? Kind of like, hey, here's this last stuff, knowing he was dying? I mean...
Yeah, it's hard to know.
Maybe they should start doing some... How about this, everybody, as a compromise? If somebody dies, you have to give your DNA. Why does it matter at that? No, but seriously, if you die, then you take their DNA and it goes into a database. Because at that point, what does it matter, right? Like you're not going to be framed. Well, I guess you could still frame a dead person, but he's dead, right? I mean,
what would you do if suddenly they said the government was like, okay, everybody in the country has to have a DNA sample, give one?
Well, that's what we were saying earlier. It's just kind of, that's weird too. But imagine this: if everybody, when they're born, gives DNA, or everybody had to give DNA, and you had CCTV, you would bust everybody.
Nobody would get away with murder.
Right. I mean, you would bust everybody unless you were some person that snuck into the country that didn't give you the DNA.
Unless you're Dexter, and then you would get away with it.
Right. The only problem is that's just so big brothery. It's like.
Yeah.
And then where do you end, right? Okay, well, this is what we're going to do next. Everyone's going to wear a personal camera. And, even when you're, having sex with your wife or whatever, we won't watch, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that's why they call that show Big Brother, right?
Yeah. See, that's the part that's, I wouldn't...
Because they're filming all the time.
Yeah. So
in fact, the finale was on tonight. It's
the slippery slope. Oh, you watched Big Brother? Wasn't that one lady in it from, like, Omarosa or something?
Yeah, she... I didn't usually watch that, but I was watching this one. And the finale is on tonight. Oh, actually, this time it'll be on at 8 o'clock Pacific Coast time.
Yeah.
So Omarosa's in it, yeah.
Yeah, she just kind of went on there to
She's good.
Yeah, but I mean, she's just on there slamming people, like, you know.
Oh, you mean in the White House?
Yeah, I guess
I
that's
think
what I
so,
hear on
yeah.
the news.
Oh, I don't know what happened there. But.
Well, I mean, Pierce Morgan, he's not a Republican by any sense, but he's just he hates her. He said that she tried to get her to tried to proposition him for sex a couple times when they were doing the Apprentice.
How weird.
Yeah, and that doesn't sound like something you would just make up. You know, that story.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, why would he? It's not like, wow, I feel so great.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like the kind of person that would have any reason to make that up.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think about the this killer? I mean, we brought up most of it, but what are your thoughts? You're more of the profiler type.
Yeah, my feeling he probably has killed other people. That's my feeling. Just seems so strange that he would, kill somebody so violently, so horrifically, and then just not lose that urge, just seems. But that FBI profile said people do that, meaning they can commit a murder like that and then not do it again because they have other outlets.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to think more about that.
Yeah, I do
it's
feel
just
like
that 14-year gap.
Yeah, but there was also even the 2-year gap. So this guy was kind of like, okay, God, nobody's onto me at all. Here you go, catch me if you can. Nope, that note didn't work either. Oh, jeez. But then he takes a break for 14 years.
Yeah. So is he institutionalized? Is he in jail? But you wouldn't be in jail that long and not give your DNA, right?
I don't think so, but I don't know if they took DNA back then.
Well, I think they started in 1990, I think. But not every state. So I don't know when Indiana.
Oh, I see. You're talking about. Okay.
If he was in jail in Indiana, then I don't know when they started it. CODIS.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he put the semen in the condoms. In 2004.
Yeah, then he knows he's not in the system, right?
Yep. So he knows he's not in there. And just another little ha-ha. He probably, you know what? I don't even think he has. I almost think he doesn't even have a family. Like he's just sort of like this, maybe a single child, had older parents that are already died. And he's just some, because.
But he has heavy roots from Indiana, is what they're saying.
Yeah. I don't know when you say heavy
I think I saw
roots.
somebody in comments somewhere saying that, what if he was like Amish or something, or Amish?
Yeah, that again. See, it's funny. Yeah, I mean, they are the present. They are in that area, right?
Yes,
but it's
very
just
much so.
It's just funny how like every time there's just
because they don't drive, right?
Right. So he was on a horse and buggy putting those notes around.
But they say that people actually pay money. People actually earn money driving them around. It's an actual job. People that live in Indiana or, wherever, they will pay Amish. Sorry, the Amish will pay them to drive them somewhere, but they just cannot drive. Oh, some Amish do drive? Is it Amish or Amish? I don't know.
Amish.
Amish?
So neither.
Okay. Amish, okay.
Yeah.
So somebody said
who's
some
Sarah
Amish
Bowker?
do drive.
I mean, what's this? They're talking about Sarah Bowker up here. What's that? Is that another person that was killed somewhere?
What's the name?
Sarah Bowker.
Haven't. How do you spell it?
Bowker. This doesn't. She looks older. Oh, let's see. Hold on. Oh, that looks similar. How
do you spell the last name again?
Bowker. So what's this thing about a message on a barn door? Investigators say that. Hold on.
Sarah Jean Bowker.
Okay, the tips came in. The case went cold 2 years later on May 20th. Okay, this is over the course of several days. He noticed message scrawled on a barn. So that sounds like that's a Tinsley case. So how come that led to this article? Huh. This looks like it has a lot of. This might be pretty interesting to read about. True crime diary. You're gonna have to book.
Oh, is it Sarah Jean Bowker? Bowker, born 30th of May, 83, died 13th of June, 1990. DeKalb County, Indiana.
Yeah, I just don't know what the relation of that would be to anything.
Let's see.
I mean, I went to the link, Sarah Bowker, and then I went to Remember Me, and then I clicked on it, May 16, 2012, but then it seemed like it went almost straight to April Tinsley. But I guess she's at the top, so let's see, what does this say?
No, I found another link. Here, I'll send this to you.
Kind of
on Hangouts. Okay.
Well, it's sort of weird, right? Like, how come it went straight to the Tinsley?
Okay.
Well,
maybe a lot of people.
Every time you send me a link, I have to do it again because I think you're doing it from a cell phone. Well, you do it from a cell phone, right? See,
I'm actually on my Mac.
So what you just sent me, that's Tinsley again, right?
No, well, it looks like it when I open it, but
so isn't that weird?
I'm looking down further to see if maybe it more segues into the other case.
Well, see, that's crazy because that's what it did on the other one too. They must
really
link
right.
These
there's
together.
nothing on here about that.
Yeah, so I don't know.
So, but in the, before I clicked on it, I could see. It says here is maybe it's in the comments section then. As Michelle reported in that post, 7-year-old Sarah Bowker would disappear not long after that message on a barn door.
Oh, I see.
She met the same fate as April.
But she was older, right?
Oh, so strangely, while the coroner who examined both girls concluded their murders were related, the FBI disagreed.
Oh, really? How old was she?
Section.
How old was she?
I don't know yet. Let's see. Well, it's not even in the comments section. So somebody's saying that the coroner said that they were related, the deaths, but that the FBI just did not agree to that. Did not agree. Well, maybe you'll have to look into that.
Yeah. Wonder why they disagreed. I mean, but she was older, right?
I'm not sure.
The picture of her.
Not really, because she was born in 83 and died in 90.
Oh, she's only 7. Huh.
Yeah. Let's see.
And it says, "I'm going to kill again." You see that? The note that's on the barn said,
"Oh yeah,
I am."
So that maybe that is.
And it was related. How many days after that?
Yeah, 1990.
But it was like only a few days later.
June. She disappeared June 13, 1990, from her family's Fort Wayne apartment complex.
And then hold on.
And her body was found in a nearby grassy creek the next day.
Oh, geez.
She had been suffocated, which is the same.
Yeah.
Allen County Prosecutor Robert Gevers declined to say whether Hensley... Oh. Hang on. So this must be the one where Hensley... That Roy Hensley was convicted of...
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, I think so. But he died in 94.
Well, see, he might not have done it, though, you see. How did they convict him? Was it DNA?
Oh, I don't know. We'd have to look into that.
Yeah, so May 21st, 1990 is when the barn note was put there. And what date did you say that was?
This was, she disappeared June 13th, 1990 from her family's Fort Wayne apartment complex. Found in a nearby grassy creek the next day, and she had been suffocated.
So what? So excuse me. What was that date again? Though June 3rd, you said.
13, 1990.
So like 3 weeks later.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
kind of interesting. Not sure what.
So how was Hensley convicted? Was that solid? Is the question.
I don't know.
Because it does sound very similar.
Yeah, that's very close.
Well, unless he had a partner. No, that wouldn't make sense. I was just saying, you know, sometimes they do them in twos.
Well, that's something that's been in my mind a little bit is like, how do we know that the DNA... I mean, isn't it possible... I mean, I actually was thinking this. This sounds out in left field, but... Like that the DNA in the condom's not from the killer, nor was the... But the DNA from... Like the first case was, but then they kind of reversed them around. I don't know. I was kind of thinking something like that, like... Because it seems so...
Well, they found DNA at the scene of the murder, right?
Yeah, they found his DNA on her, so that would make, you know, and then the same DNA is in the condom 14 years later.
Which were left with
16.
the notes matched.
Yeah, they matched, but I was kind of thinking, well, let's see, maybe that person is the one that killed her, or maybe, you know, if they were in two, maybe another person killed her, but he was there too. And then, I don't know, there's just kind of gets too confusing.
I see what you're saying. So, like, if it were more than one killer, one of them, the DNA was not.
But then wouldn't you have, it seemed like you would have intentionally put different DNA in the condom to then throw off the first.
Oh, yeah.
So then that doesn't really make sense. I think it's just one person. You know, that just was, toying with law enforcement.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
So I think I'd read somewhere that the Hensley tried to confess to the Tinsley murder.
No, he did?
I'm not sure. I haven't read up enough about it. So maybe he confessed to crimes he didn't commit.
Yeah, and maybe that's why they pinned it on that one just to get an easy conviction.
Possibly.
And
I don't know.
Because
haven't
obviously,
checked to see if there was DNA evidence on that one.
Well, when was he? Well, what would be interesting is to know when was that guy Hensley arrested, and when did he die?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I don't know when he was arrested, but he died in 1994.
Yeah. So that can't be.
It can't be the person who left the notes.
Yeah, or who deposited the DNA in both, in 1988 and in 2004.
So we'd have to see if there's more info on what kind of evidence was found with the Sarah case.
Well, to see how was he convicted.
Right, exactly.
But then you'd have to totally speculate and say, oh, well, even he was wrongfully, then do a whole thing on wrongfully convicted,
So that's kind of an interesting aspect if you think, if there could be anything to that.
Yeah. But it seems so close, man.
Mm-hmm.
Same age.
Yeah, just
and just 3 weeks
I know.
after he said, "I'm gonna do it again."
What are the chances that there would be just weeks later another murder similar to April Tinsley's? You know, after that note was left.
Right.
I mean, sorry, on the barn door.
Yeah, that's what I knew what you meant.
It just seems
It's a note on a door.
that's really strange that there would be another murder of a child so close by, so soon.
Right.
After that note was written, so.
Yeah. It also just, there's just so many people this happens to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the thing. You know, just doing these cases all the time, you start realizing, man, this is just such a screwed up planet at this point.
And then there's, you know, people, the missing, the bodies have never been found.
Yeah, think how many people like that are just missing.
Yeah.
I mean,
some percentage are alive, right? Because they've gone voluntarily missing.
Yeah.
But children, they're, you know, that have gone missing and never been found.
Yeah, I think most people that are missing have never been found are literally not alive anymore.
Most cases.
Yeah, I'd say like 90-something.
Yeah,
%.
but there have been a couple of cases not too long ago that somebody's been found and they thought they were murdered.
Oh, they were actually found and they were murdered. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Some were found who they thought were murdered were found alive. Like, is that JC? The one that was found alive and she had kids with the guy?
Yeah. That would be Dugar. Wait, which one?
Yeah, JC Dugar.
Yeah. Wasn't that the one? Oh, that was the one. Yeah, 10 years she was held as like, and there was a couple other girls too, right? Amanda. Something. Right? Isn't that right? Amanda something.
There was one that Elizabeth Smart.
Yeah, that was
she
before.
Wasn't for too long, but long enough.
That was like a year though, wasn't it? A couple years maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, not too long, but everyone thought she was dead.
Yeah.
So, but you know.
The other cases. Yeah, that was, and that guy killed himself in jail before he could be tried. He wasn't going to survive in prison.
Which one?
Well, they just found those three. No, the other one.
Yeah. Ariel Castro.
Yeah.
Was that his name?
Yeah, I can't remember the three.
Yeah, the three women that he kept chained inside the house.
Yeah, I thought it was like Amanda something was one of them.
Yeah, Amanda, and I can't remember her last name right now.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, because one of them escaped. Escaped from the house, and otherwise he just would have kept on.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to these 13 kids.
Yeah.
Recently, right? The one girl had the courage to finally. Doesn't that seem amazing? Like all those years, somebody
incredible.
didn't.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't somebody?
It seems unbelievable that nobody would.
Right, and that's why you get the conspiracy theorists on my videos saying this is all fake. It's all just you know.
Yes, all the same actors, right?
Yeah, the same ones. They just travel around. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Amanda Berry. There you go.
Oh yeah, Amanda Berry.
Adalia said it. All right. Well.
Okay. Well.
I think that's about it. Unless you guys have anything else, we can. I think might try to do another one of these. Yeah, Walking Dead coming up.
You got to get your pizza ready and all that for the Walking Dead premiere.
I wasn't thinking about pizza, but damn, that does sound pretty good.
Now it's sounding good.
You know what we should do one time is do a Walking Dead. I'm sure there's people do it, but like we could do this while watching it. But we don't really talk that much, but we have the Walking Dead on. And
you could do that. You could put that in one of those Facebook groups, the small.
Yeah. That's one of the things that Facebook should do is have TV night. And like in your group, you could literally turn the banner into a video. You know the banner that's up there? and then it turns into a video, and everybody starts watching it, and you just watch together, and you know, maybe ads come up, and that's more revenue and everything. It's just, but they should just stream it on there, and then you could have like 50 people chatting, but you don't hear their annoying voices. Just kidding. No, you don't hear their voices. You just can chat when you want to. Oh man, I bet Daryl's gonna, you know, something like that.
Sounds like a moneymaker.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be me. It'd be Facebook making money. That's just an idea that I had.
But yeah, that sounds good. Or wine and cheese, you know.
Right. Wine and cheese night. That was your idea.
Yeah.
I might have to do it. Do some lives where we get some wine out. And
get drunk and start talking nonsense.
And start pounding it down. Yeah. Yeah, just talk
your
nonsense.
Shots of whatever you like.
Yeah, that'd be kind of funny. Yeah. But, all right. Well, I think this is going to be it, everybody. So I hope you guys had fun. I'm going to hit this stop. All right. Hey, thanks for joining again. It's fun.
Yeah.
All right. See you. Bye.
Good night.
Bye.